morning realizing it was Tuesday, which yesterday was Monday.
So you're on it right now.
Aristotle's thinking, Saturday is closer. And we all know what happened Saturday. We are blessed. I feel like the guy from Split, like, rejoice! College football is here. Is it Austin Peay versus Western Kentucky at 11?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it is. Do I
Hawaii
care?
Vandy?
Yeah, Hawaii Vandy, sign me up.
I'll be there.
UNLV's playing. Look, I don't care if it was Idaho State playing a bunch of Mr. Potato Heads. Like, I'm so excited about being able to wake up, go watch college football.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also excited about somebody, I guess, on Walsh's show in the chat yesterday.
This was weird for me.
This was weird for you? It's hard to get weird for you.
It really is. I'm not really a person you can easily make things awkward with. Never been that type of guy.
Either.
So I'm peeking in on Walsh's chat the other day on his show. And somebody literally said, Blaine in boots with ankle socks, that his ankles are disgusting. There's certain things I allow. I'm fine. If it was past Thursday and on, and you want to talk about my ankles,
I don't know. If somebody talks about your ankles on Flamin' Dragon Friday, this whole place.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what the consequences are if you do that. But for you to make fun of my ankles on a random show on a Monday is what scares me.
We need to get the Booster Club chat.
No, I didn't even wear boots yesterday.
We need to get the Booster Club chat popping like the Walsh chat so we can get more comments on it.
Is there another Blaine?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Come in here and make fun of my ankles.
Is there another Blaine out there, you think?
No,
that
was
no
I
shot.
mean, I can see
maybe with an
right
E.
now.
I could see his ankle.
You saw ankle bone? You saw ankle bone? Today we break down college football's hottest coaching seats, MLB division winners as we get close to the end of the season, and the top college quarterbacks with our special guest, list extraordinaire, Big Game Boomer. I'm Jake Crane. Welcome to Crane & Company. We all love a story with a happy ending, and when Scott Frost took the Nebraska job as a former star quarterback in Lincoln, the college football world went absolutely nuts. Fast forward 5 years later, and it seems like his playing days are the only thing keeping him at the helm in Lincoln. Frost enters this season with a 15-29 overall record, and that trails only Bill Jennings from 1957 to 61 as the worst winning percentage for a Cornhuskers head coach in the last 7 decades. After the abysmal 3-9 campaign from last year, $1 million pay cut, and the firing of 4 assistants, this is definitely his last shot. Now, when you dive into what has hurt Nebraska the most, last year is a microcosm in itself. The Huskers were second in the Big Ten in total offense, but failed to score 30 points in all but 2 games. And those 2 games were against Fordham and Northwestern. Not exactly juggernauts last year. Now, offensive coaches get paid, and coaches in general get paid to put the ball in the end zone, not just move it in between the 20s. The defense only forced 13 turnovers and was among the worst in the league in sacks and third downs. To put it plainly, the Huskers struggled to do the most important things there are in a college football game. Incoming transfer quarterback Casey Thompson has ability, and Mark Whipple coming in from Pitt with a pass-first style should spice things up, but the offensive line has to be able to protect so the pass can open up the run. The wide receiver room additions of Trey Palmer, Marcus Washington, and Garcia Castaneda could finally help the Huskers put the ball in the end zone, but it seems Nebraska is where players have gone to break down, not break out. The biggest transfer they scooped up was TCU edge rusher O'Shawn Mathis, who should help take some pressure off a secondary that returns only 1 player with an interception. Adding all the pieces are great, but the puzzle still has to be completed on game day. Frost has possibly the hottest seat at a major program in the country, and if the Huskers don't win at least 8, and show major progress, he may just get burned. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, my mustacheless brother,
jacked and
Blaine Crane. No, he's not. My ugly-ankled mustache brother.
Wow.
Blaine Crane, look, they said it, not me. But we talk about hot seats, and I think sometimes we kind of throw it around, but if you look at these numbers for Scott Frost at Nebraska, it's an absolute 5-alarm fire, Category 5 hurricane, F5 tornado, and an earthquake mixed with a mudslide that I would have never seen coming. And you know what's crazy? I talk about Mario Cristobal, and this goes to show you that just because you played somewhere doesn't mean you're a great coach going back to that place. There has to be other things. Like I said, 15-29 in 5 years, 10-25 in the Big Ten, I think. No bowl since 2016. No conference title since 1999. Since 2018, his 15 wins are the 5th fewest in the Power 5. That is absolutely unbelievable. But he does have the most manageable schedule he's ever had. They did make some moves in the transfer portal. I mentioned the Mathis kid from TCU, the LSU wide receiver, the Texas wide receiver, the New Mexico State wide receiver. But Cone, how many do they have to win? I think he's got to win at least 8, and one of those 8 better be a big one.
I think so, and I think this is the last year to do it. I think you're right on. I love your point about great former players don't necessarily make great former coaches. I think Matt Moscona was on sort of making a similar point when it came to Ed Ogeron at LSU.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we love that the guy was a Cajun and, could recruit kids. What we love more is guys who come in and win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But one of the things that does make college football great is watching some of these former players become coaches at their alma maters. You look what Kirby Smart's been able to do, Mario Cristobal now at Miami, Jim Harbaugh at my alma mater of Michigan. So it is really special. I want Scott Frost to succeed. I think college football is better when Nebraska is good. You guys wouldn't
agree,
right?
100%
I mean, that is a passionate fan base, selling out home crowds for 30, 40 years, whatever the number is. But I think you've made this point before. It seems like Scott Frost's tenure there was sort of built off one unbelievable season, that 13-0 year at UFC with the or UCF with the Peach Bowl win, right? Because even the year before that, even the year before that was 6-7 with UCF. So, when you look at those numbers combined with what he's done at Nebraska, and did you break down what Bo Pelini did at Nebraska before?
When
Scott
you look
Frost
at Bo
got
Pelini,
there?
no, before.
Break
So
that
Mike
down.
Riley, so Bo Pelini went 10-4, 9-4, really good record. I know there's some off-the-field stuff with Bo Pelini. He's not the most likable guy. You bring in Mike Riley, who goes, I think, 6-7, then 9-4, and then an absolute disaster. I think they went 4-8, 3-9, something like that. And then you bring in Scott Frost, the savior, the guy, the prodigal son. Let's bring him in. He's going to turn it around. What confuses me? It's amazing. And look, I know the system they ran at UCF is way different than Nebraska, and I'm trying to understand. And I get it. Nebraska's an old powerhouse running team. Well, guess what? I hate when we use schools' history, and you've talked about this, to be beholden to a style or a system. To be like, all right, well, since we won 6 national championships from 1960 to 1985, running the wishbone and the eye and running, fullback lead and stuff like that, well, we're a running school. No, you need to be a point-scoring school. You need to be a game-winning school. Like Scott Frost went, you had the year you talk about the 6-7 at UCF, then with Heupel and all those guys, they go fast and they have the great year, and then you totally go away from that when you get to Nebraska. To me, it seems like he started not to dance with the one that brought him a little bit, because imagine if you took that style and that pace to Nebraska. Here's the thing. You know what? I don't care if you don't like the style. I don't care if you don't like the pace. You know what you're going to love? When we win.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to love? When we don't go 3-9. You know what you're going to love? When we can make a bowl outside of every 5 years.
When I first made that point is because I'm from Statesboro, where Georgia Southern ran the triple option, and that's when they were winning the 1AA national championships. And Statesboro High School was running the wishbone, and they were winning state titles. And sort of, they haven't had the success that they used to have, so offenses have switched over time. And it's like, I know that those were the offenses that were run for those programs when you were having the most success, but like you said, the ultimate goal is to win. Doesn't matter what Irk Russell...
It cures everything.
Yeah, I mean, if Irk Russell was still the coach at Georgia Southern, he would instill a different offense if that's what it took to win ball games. But what I want to know is this a Nebraska problem or is it a Scott Frost problem? I mean, have they reached a ceiling?
Well, I would say it's a Scott Frost problem.
I agree.
Because, Bo Pelini won 10 games.
I agree.
Now, I still think you should have never fired Bo Pelini. You reached. That's what you did. And sometimes when you reach, what happens? You get teached. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I'll never understand, and I've talked about this earlier, when people say culture fits, does he fit the culture? A culture fit is not a guy who talk about Brian Kelly at LSU. Does he like the gumbo? Does he go get crawfish tonight? A culture fit is someone who can win football games. That's what it is. If you can win football games, you're a great culture fit. In my opinion, this is Scott Frost's last year in Nebraska.
It is, without a doubt.
This is his last year in Nebraska. It's not working. I'm sorry. You were supposed to be the one. It was so good early. It sounded great. Next thing you know, we're 6 months into it, and it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So to me, he's gone.
Well, you know that they wanted him to be their Sam Wise, but turns out he just Boromir.
Yeah, it's Boromir.
It's such a Boromir thing to do. But when you look at this roster, I think Casey Thompson's a good player.
Yeah.
We know Trey Palmer from LSU can hit the home run, and they've added pieces. I still worry about the offensive line. You know what's crazy? And we talk about style and stuff like this. You know when Nebraska ran for over 200 yards last year, they were 3-0. When they didn't, they were 0-9.
Okay.
So Mark Whipple's coming in from Pitt. You know, a very traveled guy as a play caller. His system is somewhat of a pass first, get the ball out. I really like what he does in the intermediate pass game and the short pass game. We saw what Pitt was able to do last year. And at this point, when you look at this schedule and adding the TCU edge rusher, the linebacking core is pretty good. They have the players, I think, to win 8 games. Can we pull up their schedule?
Who do you want?
Nebraska's schedule this year. All right, let's go through it real quick because I think this is probably the most manageable or navigable, whatever that word is, schedule for Scott Frost.
All right, you ready? Week 1, go to Northwestern.
Well, it's in Ireland.
Okay, you go to Ireland.
You go somewhere.
Yeah, you're playing
you're going
Northwestern.
somewhere. I think I'm not going to give my prediction yet, but I feel good about that game and especially the under. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
All right, then you got North Dakota week 2.
Just North Dakota.
Yep.
Okay. Win.
Georgia Southern.
Win.
Loss.
Win.
Then you got Oklahoma at home.
That's an L.
Indiana at home.
That's a win.
You go to Rutgers.
I don't care if you played them on Saturn. It's a win.
All right, you go to Purdue.
That's a loss.
You got Illinois at home.
Dude, Illinois is going to be sneaky this year, dude. Beat them up. I'll give them a win on that, but Illinois is going to be sneaky.
All right, Minnesota at home.
Yeah, the boat's sinking, in my
You
opinion.
go to Michigan.
That's a loss.
You got Wisconsin at home.
Got to win it.
That's a win.
God, I'm giving him a win right now because I want to see if Graham Mertz can throw
You
a
go
forward pass.
to Iowa.
There's 8 there.
Are they beating Wisconsin?
Iowa,
back to back?
Wisconsin, the Minnesota game at home. You need to start off good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You need to start off good and get some momentum. If you go over to Ireland and get your Lucky Charm stolen, then, I mean, it may be Gonzo the Clown a little quicker than we thought.
Well, you talking about Nebraska got me thinking of other hot seats around the country, and I was thinking about Mike Norvell's situation at Florida State. Not entirely his fault. The program was already having trouble. Jimbo Fisher pointed that out on his way out. And then Mike Norvell came in during COVID, right? But back-to-back losing seasons. This will be his 3rd year. And you were talking about Bo Pelini's success before that. I was looking up here. Jimbo Fisher only had 2 seasons where he didn't win 10 games at Florida State. Okay, and even one of those was still a 9-4 year. I mean, he was 10-4, 12-2, 14-0 with a national championship, 13-1, 10-3, 10-3, and then on his way out, they went 7-6 after they were having all those problems. Still went to a bowl game, and they've been to 1 bowl since then. And like we were talking about with Moscona again, haven't had a winning season since then. Now, despite Florida State's problems, they are not a program who's going to put up with 5 or 6 or 7 straight losing seasons.
No.
So it might not all be Mike Norvell's fault, but I think the leash is still short.
I think it is short. It's a matter of time before Deion Sanders is the head coach of Florida State. He can say what he wants about staying at Jackson State and doing this. When it comes down to it, because look, Mike did wonderful things at Memphis. I think he's a great coach. I know guys that played for him that absolutely love him. Florida State, you are somewhat fighting with a hand tied behind your back because of the resources. In today's game, with NIL, with facilities, it's an arms race with money. That's what it is. And Florida State hasn't made those investments. You look at Miami right now with Mario Cristobal. What are they doing? They're investing in the program. You need a practice facility? Here. Let's call your local billionaire. Let's get you what you need on campus stadium. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. I don't think Florida State has shown that they are all in to be as good as the program can be. And it's sad because it's a national brand. Florida State and Miami is one of the best rivalries we have, not only in college sports, but all sports. And Florida State's lack of showing that they care as much as everybody else is very disappointing. But you know what? When you get beat down so much after this year, I think, Mike, they better do something. Because I don't think like you said, I think the leash is not only short, it may be this year if it snowballs on him. And I'm looking at that roster, and it doesn't exactly fill me with hope, happiness, and butterflies, okay? So it's sad to see with Florida State. You look at Dino Babers at Syracuse is another guy that's under a lot of pressure. But Blaine, there's one guy in particular from our backyard that, it better be good this year.
Yeah, so Brian Harsin, okay? And I'm not going to start this off with all the off the field stuff. I'm not. I'm going to talk about on the field. We saw all the drama off the field. This one I'm going to talk about on the field. Let's go to the Penn State game. All right, final seconds of that game. One of the last plays. You threw it to a guy who has the same amount of catches at Auburn as I do, which is 0, and we saw how that went. All right, and then let's go through it. Then you scored 3 points at A&M. All right, you're up 28-3 basically at halftime versus Mississippi State. And second half of football games are usually come down to what? Coaches
Adjustments.
What? Adjustments. You lose that game. All right, and then you play South Carolina, who had a GA at quarterback. I was basically playing quarterback for South Carolina, and you lost that game. We're up at halftime, came back in the second half. And then, you lose Bo Nix. And people don't realize this about Bo Nix, is Bo Nix covered up a lot of problems for this Auburn football team. He really did. Bo Nix was an extremely good football player. So let's go to the transfer portal, and you look at some of the names that were in there. JT Daniels, Caleb Williams.
Keaton Slovis,
Dylan Gabriel. Just guys who could come in, start, and fix a lot of problems for Auburn day one. But who does Auburn get?
Yeah, now
they get Zach Calzada because he played good one game against Alabama. He didn't even play that good. It was decent. The Texas A&M defense won that game for Texas A&M. So we missed there. Now he's the third quarterback.
Yeah, third string quarterback
on the depth chart. And you look at the quarterback room at Auburn. I mean, T.J. Finley, not going to win you a lot of games. You can rely on the defense. The defense will keep them close in a lot of games. But you don't have a quarterback that's going to win you any games. So you lose in the transfer portal. You lose in second half games that you should have won. That's on the coaching. Not really doing good on the recruiting trail. Everything off the field that's happened. And then, the thing about Auburn, instead of building the A team, they try to find their Achilles, right? The bat signal in the sky. Who's going to be the guy who comes to Auburn who saves the day? Who's going to save us? You go back, Bo Nix was supposed to save us. Cam did save us. Nick Marshall basically saved us. But Holden Garner is the guy, the shining hope in the darkness who's going to come save Auburn. And I promise you, if he's the best player and you don't play him and you ride with one of these guys, this will be the last year you coach at Auburn because it's not getting any easier. You go through this schedule.
The one that hurts me is you blew it against Bama. You got so fortunate that Bama played their worst game. The offensive line played their worst game. And I blame, Mike Bobo, I thought he had one of his worst years calling plays last year. Did Auburn have a ton of weapons? No. But in the biggest moments, Mike Bobo blew it. But Mike Bobo works for Brian Harsin.
Yep.
You are up double-digit points against Alabama in the second half. T.J. Finley's throwing for 100 yards in the game. And you throw the ball, I think it was second down, you take a chance and throw the ball instead of just running the ball and saying, you know what? If we're going to hold on to win like this, we'll hold on to win like this. You make a bad decision, it's an interception, Bama goes and kicks a field goal. Now it's a one-score game. Then Tank Bigsby goes out of bounds when you could have ran a lot more clock and made it a lot harder. That's on the coaches. It'll be a cold day in hell before Tank Bigsby does not know that you stay in bounds. I don't care if we get invaded by the Chinese. You stay in bounds. It's coaching, it's adjustments, and it worries me.
It should.
It worries me. And guess what? We're all fans of somebody. I wish them nothing but success. But when I look at the lack of adjustments, and then like you said, you go and get Zach Calzada, who isn't he's not elite. He's not above average. He's third string. If Auburn's having to count on Robbie Ashford and T.J. Finley, they're in trouble. Because look around the league. Rank your quarterbacks with the other quarterbacks around the league. I'd take Ken Seal from Vanderbilt over all three of them. And it's so sad to watch how it went down in the portal. Now, we'll see. It's year 2. You got to give a guy time. But year one grade, D. Now, I know D's get degrees, but D's also get you fired at a place like Auburn. So you better hope your boy Eric Kiesau, who's you brought over from Boise, and I know you guys are going to collab on it, you better be right. Because if you come out, I'm telling you right now, and remember I said this, you play Mercer and then you play San Jose State. San Jose State whipped his ass at Boise. Okay? They know him. If they lose to San Jose State, Brian Harsin will get fired in the middle of the season. They will fire him in the middle of the season, and if they do and they don't go get Hugh Freeze, you don't deserve to win.
Well, yeah, there's a couple things I didn't add. You should have lost to Georgia State. Georgia State should have won that game. And 2, you have a top-tier running back, an NFL, probably a guy who's going to have a long career in the NFL and probably a damn good one, and you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky to win 8 games.
That's exactly right. Let's go to the Booster Club real quick.
Okay, Emmanuel C., hashtag Ask Crane & Company. What about Chip Kelly and UCLA in the final Pac-10 seasons? Will UCLA be an asset to the Big Ten, or are they just a follower to the bigger fish USC is heading into the Big Ten.
Let me give Emmanuel credit. There's a sneaky little thing in there. He said Pac-10. Why did he say Pac-10?
I love it.
USC and UCLA are going to be gone. I love that. Blaine, read me the end of that question one more time. I just caught that. Emmanuel, I love where your head's at
Will
right
UCLA
now.
be an asset to the Big Ten, or are they just a follower to the bigger fish USC heading into the
Well, they've got to go. I mean, there's some reports now that there's some problems. There may be some, Gavin Newsom. There may be some. UCLA, it's not a done deal, in my opinion, that UCLA is gone. It always surprises me that where USC is and where UCLA is, you think UCLA would be the hotbed to get the most recruits. You're basically on rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're basically in a movie every day of your life. USC, you're out there kind of closer to Compton, still a great place. Southern California, I mean, I'm not going to, split hairs here. But I do think UCLA has a ton of potential because it's a sexy place. Mm-hmm. It's a cool place. The weather's great. Ask Kendrick Lamar. I mean, you look at what they've been able to do and their tradition, and UCLA's been able to have success, and they're not a middling program. Chip Kelly's always going to be good offensively. My question for UCLA is defensively, especially on the front seven. Are you going to be able to have the cats? And it's funny, you look at Chip Kelly's offense and you think, all right, spread you out, spit it, let's go fast, all these things. But Charbonnet, to me, is your best player. I know Dorian Thompson-Robinson had a really good into last year. The Michigan transfer, Charbonnet, the running back, is a absolute bulldozer. Reminds me of James Conner. I think he's a James Conner clone when you watch him run. I love a physical UCLA.
Yeah.
I feel like a physical UCLA is good for America.
Yeah.
It just, again, it kind of goes against the grain. You think UCLA, guys are putting on eye black, sponsored by Maybelline or something like that. No, I mean, I like a physical UCLA. I think Chip is malleable. I mean, he's a great offensive mind. I don't think that they're, I'd consider them a follower. I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
UCLA has a lot of potential.
No, it's a huge pickup for the Big Ten. This is great. I mean, will UCLA ever be the blue blood football program that USC is? Probably not, but you need two teams to come in at the same time. Why not just gobble up the entire Los Angeles market if you're already going to make a move that drastic, and then think about basketball season. Think about what they bring from a basketball standpoint. So there's more than just football going on.
The Big Ten's already hell in basketball.
All right, Eric McManus says, do you agree that the University of Houston will be a threat in both football and basketball with near-perfect records this year?
Look, and we can pull
Watch
up
out.
Houston's schedule real quick.
I'll pull it up.
Houston is one, you look at, this is where I give the Big 12 credit. We talk about markets, and markets are one thing. Houston is unbelievably fertile in all sports. Baseball, it's one of the greatest places to recruit in the country. The travel ball there is elite. The summer ball there is elite. Basketball, we know the talent that's running around Houston. Football, we know the talent that's running around Houston. Houston could basically be a state in itself when you look at recruiting. So you have a hotbed, and those guys want to stay home. They really want to stay home. And if you're able to corral it and keep having success, they have a really good chance to go undefeated this year in football. And then what Kelvin Sampson has done in basketball, and I know Kelvin Sampson, isn't the cleanest guy out there. He's had some problems with the NCAA, which who cares anymore, right? With NIL. He just could see the future. But when you look at Houston, they are one of the programs. I would put them in one of the 3 to 4 programs with UCF and a couple others that could absolutely explode with this move to the Big 12. Not do well, Cone, but explode as an athletic program because you check every box.
Yeah.
You can recruit there, you have the love and the passion for the team, and you are moving to a bigger stage. And all you want is that opportunity. Just like a player, all you want is an opportunity to showcase yourself on the biggest stage. You're going to the Big 12. Houston, I mean, Houston playing Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. Houston's playing Oklahoma
Well, let
State.
me read
Baylor.
this because this is a little bit brutal here, this schedule this season. At UTSA.
That's gonna be a dogfight, but it's a dub.
At Texas Tech, back-to-back.
That could be a dub. I'm telling you, Texas Tech, it's going to take a little bit for Texas Tech to get back.
Kansas home.
That could be an easy dub.
Rice home.
Win.
Tulane home.
Win.
Okay, then you go to Memphis.
That'll be tough.
And then you go to Navy.
Navy and the triple option. See, I say the word triple option like my stomach drops. Like
and then
I hate a coach.
South Florida home.
Win.
And then you go to SMU.
It's winnable. It's winnable.
Temple home.
Win.
At East Carolina.
That's going to be interesting.
That's going to be very interesting. And then you get Tulsa at home. So that's a tough schedule.
It's a tough schedule. Well, the conference you play in, it just, slapping around baby stuff. We're not talking about the worst conference in the land. I think Houston could go undefeated.
You would like to get...
Now, if they go undefeated with that schedule, Kansas. Look at the out of conference.
You don't have that
don't
big
have that
marquee,
big one
but
that
I'm
Fresno
telling you,
State
man,
has.
if you know football, you know how hard it is to go to SMU and
for
win.
sure.
How hard it is to go to Memphis and East Carolina and Navy and win. And you have to, I mean, Texas Tech on the road is a nice win early in the season.
They would need to hold serve in the Big 12.
Probably not playoff bound.
Not playoff bound.
Top 10.
New
Top
Year's
10
Six, though.
for sure.
You go undefeated, you're New Year's Six for sure with that schedule.
All right, we got a question here from Matthew. He says, speaking of Florida State, what are your thoughts on their opener against LSU?
Okay. And I believe that's
actually, I don't think that's FSU's opener. Hold on, I think that's one of them plays Duquesne. Someone plays Duquesne.
They open with Duquesne. Now, you would say, okay, it's Duquesne.
Yeah,
if this was a math contest or debate club, you'd be worried about it. I don't think they're going to have any problem with it. But when you look at the LSU game, I think he's referring to the LSU game.
It is LSU's opener.
Yeah, it is LSU's opener. I see LSU as a more talented team. I see LSU as a more hungry team. And I see a lot of it's going to come down to Jaden Daniels and him protecting the ball now, because I think he's going to be the guy. But I think Bouttier's going to go nuts. I'm so interested to see that LSU offensive line. And I know it's game one, but that's going to be the barometer for me. I like LSU by double digits right now. Let's get a little bit closer, because again, we're getting near the end of fall camp. All right, so you feel good, hadn't had a ton of major catastrophic injuries. This is where you start getting into the situational scrimmage stuff. All right, where it's like, all right, the game plan goes in. All right, we put the game plan in, typically a week and a half. You're always working on little things, but you put the game plan in typically a week and a half, 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much into the game plan right now, and your last scrimmage you're going to have, so this coming up Saturday, isn't a let's line up and go smash each other scrimmage. It's situational. It's kickoff after safety. It's onside kick. It's 1 minute drill, 4 minute drill, 2 minute drill. Toro field goal. We got no timeouts. We have to run a play. Clock's running down. We got to run out there. It's punt, bleeding the clock. All right, let the ball bounce. Let the clock bleed. It's little things like that, the mechanics of it, that are going to be so important this last weekend. But I do like LSU by double digits. But speaking about what we like, Cone, we wanted to make sure before we get to Big Game Boomer and the top 10 college football quarterback list, we have ours. He has his. We want to go ahead and give you our division winners. I mean, look, guys, we're close to 125 games in right now. I know we got 2,000 more to go until the regular season ends, but we want to go ahead and give our division winners. Obviously, that's sarcasm. But, Cone, these are our collective picks, even though I do not agree with all of them, but that's why it's collective, like a good NIL package.
There'll be some disagreements. Well, let's just start with who's leading. So we'll start with the AL East. The Yankees are leading by 8 games. Do we feel good about that, Blaine? Or,
Good.
I think Tampa Bay maybe, coming in strong.
Dude, I feel great about it.
Yeah.
Hey, when it went down a little bad stretch there, it's baseball.
It's baseball.
It's way of the road. It happens. Starting to get back hot. Aaron Boone's getting pissed.
Consecutive wins after the Mets last night. Thank you, guys.
Tables, making water bottles float. I mean, if I see another person throw at Aaron Judge, I'm going to personally turn into Flaming Dragon and go take care of some things. But, I mean, look, got the pitching. You got the bats. You got the bullpen. We just got to put it all together at the right time. I mean, MLB baseball is a lot like college basketball late in the season.
Got to be hot late.
Whoever's hot late usually wins it. So I love the AL East. Give me the Yanks. Baby.
Yeah, they were up. I mean, obviously their 15-game lead got sliced in half. You have consecutive wins now. I think Aaron Boone kind of lit a fire underneath them. And look, we know how talented the Yankees are. And again, like Blaine said, it's just about getting hot late. I think the Yankees are the easy pick here.
How about AL Central? How about this bold pick coming in right here?
See, this
Throw
is
it up
the
there.
one.
White Sox.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
Oh, wow.
Just for Mr.
I did not agree.
Hero.
That's exactly
Well, hey, look, they're
right.
3 games back. They're 3 games back. They did have a 5-game win streak last week that ended up being snapped. Cleveland's in the lead, and then you have the Twins after that. They're 2 games back. But I think that 3 of these teams could win this division.
Yeah, I had the Twins.
It's a good pick.
Division here. I had the Twins. You look at Correa, the bats they have in the lineup, but you got to kind of take your hat off to the White Sox. And we've given Tony La Russa some hell on this show, but
you're falling asleep.
You're falling asleep in the first inning. I get it. You're,
in the first inning.
You're just trying to get through it so you can go watch Matlock or Murder, She Wrote and eat dinner at 4:30. So, but I'm going with the Twins. I just feel like down the stretch, they have the best players. Now, the pitching, we'll see, needs to hold up, but I like the Twins.
You like the Twins too?
I'd go Guardians. The stakes at the plate.
Who's that?
There's a new
Galaxy?
Yeah. Have y'all seen the new Avengers?
Guardians? We're talking about baseball.
Okay, my
baseball.
bad. But Cleveland, excuse me.
Yeah, there we
My bad, guys.
All right, 3 different picks there for the AL Central. How about the AL West? Astros are up 11.5 games. And this was after Seattle had a nice little run.
Yeah, Houston, we don't have a problem. We're definitely going to win the AL West.
All right. NL East, the Mets are up 3 games. This is where it gets interesting.
I wonder who y'all going to pick.
Yeah, you wonder who we're going to pick. Look, it's the Bravos.
It's the Braves, Blaine.
Okay.
Fight me.
Yeah. I mean, let me be honest with you guys. I was looking at this, and I couldn't pick either. Y'all are the Mets. Give me the Phillies.
The Phillies.
Give me the Phillies. Comeback City.
Troll.
Comeback City.
Absolute troll.
We're 11 games back.
11 back.
We're 11 back. And look, we got one under our belt. We're on a little win streak. Let's get hot here. Braves might fall apart. Yeah. We know the Mets are going to fall apart.
Unless you're about to pull a Oakland Athletics with Billy Beane and Scott Hatterberg and those guys to just freak out.
Phillies, baby. Come on.
No, it's not the Phillies special this year, buddy.
Believe.
The Braves. This is going to watch the Mets. Somebody said on social media. Somebody's like, we're going to win over 100 games and have to play in the wild card, aren't we? Like, as a Mets fan, he's like, because this is going to come down
done this before, haven't you?
Hey, and the Braves heating up. Nice win last night. Had the series win over the Astros.
You hit a double on the second.
As long as the Astros just aren't using technology to steal pitches.
Wait, what was it? He had a double on the second pitch, and you had first pitch put it in play?
Yeah, there's a ball on the first pitch.
If there was a bet out there, literally, that I could take the second pitch, I would. Like, people get hits all the time on the second pitch. That's why it's getting to the point where I can't watch it.
Blaine said literally on yesterday's show, he's like, listen, just don't throw a ball the first pitch. Just don't throw a ball, please. And you knew after you said that they were going to throw a ball. What happened?
It's past that point. It's past that point. There's no.
I can't believe we'll see your bet.
Well, I'm a man of my word. I said I'd bet this until I hit it.
You're a man of your word.
Yep.
Said you were going to keep the mustache the whole month and shit.
I did. It's like the 23rd, guys. It's the whole month.
No.
It's the entire month, basically.
Wow.
Okay, let's be honest. It's the month.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I'm watching a certain TV network the way you're spinning that.
NL Central. I think we all like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Old heads, baby.
I like the Cardinals.
They're only up 5 games.
Well, veterans.
5 games. Doubleheader today.
Last ride for Pujols, Wainwright, The Witch, Mikolas. Again, Nolan Arenado at third, who's my favorite player in Major League Baseball. It's just the truth.
Ooh.
What?
I don't know if Braves fans want to hear that, to be honest.
Well, I'm not here to tell Braves fans what they want to hear.
We're not Braves homers.
If I want to make everybody...
Yes, y'all are.
Braves homers.
Somehow the Braves come up in every show.
If I want to make everybody happy, I'd sell cookies.
All right, last one. The Dodgers are up 17.5 games.
Who's in last?
On the Padres in the NL West.
Boy, Padres. Good job getting Juan Soto, you guys. You better just put on a blindfold and bird box this thing like... Sandra Bullock and just walk around and hope.
And they're 12 games
Dodgers.
They're 12 games over 500. The Padres, and they're 17.5 games back.
I know. It's fighting for that wild card. The Braves are going to see the Dodgers in the NLCS. I've said it. That's why during the Soto sweepstakes, I was like, listen, please just don't go to the Dodgers. Please just don't go to the Dodgers. I know we're not going to see the Pods in the
Bart Scott can't wait.
I cannot wait. College football, NFL, Major League Baseball, sign me up. So those are our division winners. And speaking about division and winners, let's bring in our good friend, list extraordinaire, Big Game Boomer. BGB, what's up, man?
Fellas, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good to see you. Appreciate you getting up bright and early. And before we get going, for people that don't know, kind of tell them a little bit about what you started on your social media, doing these lists. It's obviously been very, very popular and something that keeps people engaged, too, during the offseason. I think that's kind of a great tool to keep people talking, even though, recruiting and everything else is going on.
Yeah, no, I started it back in, I think, February of 2021, just literally started cranking out lists. I'm an OU guy, so I originally started, making lists kind of target Texas fans. The first one I made was like schools that had more wins in Texas over the last 10 years. And it just kind of took off. And ever since then, just had one idea after another. And it's just ballooned into this massive thing on social media where anything that gets put out, just kind of goes viral. It's been fun for sure.
Yeah, no, it's gotten a lot of traction, and it's not just like how many times has Texas lost. It's like the best Mexican restaurant in all college towns, stuff like that. So you do a really good job of mixing up. So we had an idea. Obviously, me and Ed Boomer have been talking for a while, and we're like, you know what if once a week, every Tuesday morning, let's say you put together a list, we'll put together a list, and then we'll debate. But before we get into that, BGB, because we'll drop your list first, then we'll drop ours and we'll compare. I do got to say, I do got to say, you put out one about rivalries the other day. The most bitter rivalry. I knew you knew this was
He went after this whole group.
Yeah. It was great. So you had Clemson and South Carolina. Number one is the most bitter rivalry. You had Auburn and Alabama at 8, which I want to get your thoughts on that. Why did you have Auburn and Alabama at 8?
So I think people got that list confused, like greatest rivalry versus bitter rivalry. Like Auburn and Alabama the Iron Bowl is one of the greatest rivalries in sports, but is it bitter? I'm not sure, because I think Auburn, for the Auburn fans, I think it's definitely bitter. I think that they have that pure hatred, but I think Alabama fans, you've got so many bandwagon Bama fans out there that it just doesn't mean as much to them as it would, say a South Carolina Clemson, where that rivalry is 365 days a year. So that's kind of my basis on the Iron Bowl. We had a space yesterday on Twitter kind of talking about it, and it was funny. The Auburn fans were the ones that were coming in saying, we hate Bama, blah, blah, blah. And then the Alabama fans were kind of like, yeah, I guess Auburn's a big rival. So that's kind of where I came to on that list.
What would you say to people who say, well, an Alabama fan came down and poisoned the most famous tree in the state after losing? No,
too much Bama in him.
Yeah, too much Bama in him. I would disagree with you there. I do think it's in-state. It's so old. And, it's been competitive. I know you had Clemson and South Carolina number 1, but I was looking at it. Clemson's won 7 in a row. They've outscored South Carolina 276-104. Auburn's 2-3 versus Bama in the last 5. We know obviously about the kick 6 and all that stuff.
We do know about the kick.
We do know about the kick 6. I think some people know about the kick 6. But I'm going to let Cone ask you about Michigan.
Oh, yeah, I got to jump in here. Well, what was your thought process on putting Michigan State above Michigan and Ohio?
Because I think Michigan-Ohio State, I think, is one of the most overrated rivalries in college football. Because it's always a big game because the teams are good. There's always something kind of national, like they're playing for the Big Ten East championship, or there's a national championship on the line. But Michigan State, to me, is a bigger rivalry than Michigan-Ohio State. Those fan bases absolutely hate each other. They live together. They live next door to each other. When they're driving to work and a Michigan guy is driving, a Michigan State guy will try to cut him off. I mean, they absolutely hate each other. And you see it on social media, man. It is absolutely brutal on social media between Michigan and Michigan State fans. So that's kind of how I came to that.
Let me tell you about my experience at Michigan. The kids who get recruited out of state, right? You're taught that Michigan and Ohio is the greatest rivalry in sports, and that's just a bitter rivalry.
Well, that's a lie.
Some of the in-state guys who go to high school with the kids who end up going to Michigan State, a lot of them do treat Michigan State like they have a bigger level of hatred, right? And they've told me this, like you'll have a lot of guys who come in from in-state, or a lot of walk-ons especially, who come in from Saline and from Ypsilanti and from Novi and Northville, and they really do. They hate Michigan State because they know more of the student and the fan base there than they do with the Buckeyes. And I think a lot changed, man, when Mike Hart, I was at Michigan when Mike Hart called Michigan State little brother, right? A lot changed them because they really took that to heart. And look, Michigan hasn't been able to beat them consistently. So I just wanted to know your thought process on that, even though I will say something changes in me physically come Thanksgiving when we play Ohio. It's not a pretty week, But
he won't even put the word state on the graphics we put out.
It's not. There's no need. I gotta give him
credit, but that goes back to when we had our head-to-head argument about which was better, Iron Bowl or Ohio State, Michigan.
The game,
whatever. I would not call it that. That's the only time I'll ever say that. It's a game that gets played in the season. Is that it's one thing to have an argument with your neighbor and you go into separate houses to sleep. It's another one to have an argument with your brother that you stay in the same room with.
I get that, and I've always understood that point, and you may be right. The only reason I say you may not be right is because at the end of the day, if you're having a fight with your brother, it hurts, but he's still your brother. If you're having an in-state rivalry with Alabamians, you're still Alabamians. When you put a state line between two people, there's no level for that hatred, right? Especially when that started, I'm talking specifically with Michigan and Ohio now, when that started via a border war. But you and I have talked about this.
Yeah, we've talked about it in the face. But BGB, we want to go ahead and put out your graphic first, your top 10 quarterback list. Thought it was really interesting. There is some crossover with the one that we have. So let's go ahead and throw that clip up of Big Game Boomer's list. There we go. Nice. All right, so you want to go through it? You want me to go through it?
Hit me with some questions. I mean,
All
I
right,
think
all
Bryce
right.
Young and
Yeah.
I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are easily one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that they're interchangeable. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that list?
Well, obviously, like you said, 1 and 2, I do think Bryce Young is the better player by a little bit, but I think C.J. Stroud wins the Heisman. We kind of went back and forth on some of these. We're a lot closer with you, as you'll see in a minute, with Hendon Hooker. Grayson McCall was one. Blaine really wanted Grayson McCall in our top 10 because it is a collective top 10. I just don't think he throws the ball well enough when you look at the other quarterbacks we have, like Jake Haener, who's on your list there as well. Brennan Armstrong's another guy. We did a couple honorable mentions. But Spencer Rattler
number 10.
at number 10. You're buying the Spencer Rattler hype.
I am. Did you watch him in 2020? I mean, the guy was off the charts. I think he won. Was he the offensive rookie of the year or something? I mean, he had great numbers. Last year, I blame almost all of it on Lincoln Riley. He had we all know, I mean, for sure, he had his foot out the door. He was talking to USC all season. The offense was just out of sync. So I think he goes to South Carolina. He's got a fresh start. He's got some weapons on the offense, receiver and tight end. Biggest question for South Carolina is their offensive line. Can they block anybody? So we will find out very quickly. But I mean, I think Rattler, he's got an arm. He's got the talent. So he's just got to get his head right.
Yeah, my thing with Spencer is he didn't face a lot of adversity in 2020. Now, let's remember as well, 2020, you didn't have a bunch of fans screaming at you in the stands. The games are a little bit different, but I don't want to take away what he accomplished. I think when people use a COVID year, I saw this, people saying, oh, well, A&M went 8-1 with a COVID year. That's ridiculous. You're still playing football,
still the
and
SEC
it's an even
schedule.
playing field. Yeah, that's like saying, well, Alabama's championship doesn't count. It's a stupid thing to say. But in 2021, he faced some adversity. And when he faced adversity, he did not handle it well. I do not question his ability to throw the ball. I do not question his ability as a quarterback. I question his ability when it's not going his way to be able to bounce back and lead a team to a win.
Yeah, I don't think Spencer Rattler belongs anywhere near that top 10 list, even though he could fight his way back into it. But other than that, I really love your list. Now, I don't think
you're big on Devin Leary too.
I don't think Grayson McCall is necessarily in that top 10 list, especially, I mean, I can feel the Miami fans right now, with Tyler Van Dyke and even you had Brennan Armstrong, but even Aiden O'Connell at Purdue. I think there's a lot of great quarterbacks out there. Even Malik Cunningham we were talking about at Louisville. But I love that you had Devin O'Leary in there. You had him higher than we did, actually. What do you expect from Devin Leary? Sorry. What do you expect from Devin Leary and NC State this season in the ACC?
So, I mean, Devin Leary had an amazing season last year. 35 touchdowns, 5 or 6 interceptions. I mean, I am high on the Wolfpack. I've been vocally, I don't know how many radio shows I've gone on saying that I think that NC State can make the college football playoff this year. There's definitely a path. They got to knock off Clemson. Sam Hartman being out now definitely helps them. But I think they are the most balanced team in the ACC, top to bottom. You've got Leary at quarterback. So you've got a great offense and a great defense. That was, I think, the second best defense in the ACC. You're going against Clemson. We know they have a great defense, but I don't think DJ Uiagalelei is any good. So I don't care how great the defense is. They're going to struggle on offense. So I really like the Wolfpack this year, and I've been very vocal about it.
That secondary from NC State is elite.
Yes.
It is absolutely
elite.
And
the linebackers. The linebackers
are good as well. I do the offensive line. You lose Aquanu, a couple, I want to see it, but that's where Devin Leary kind of helps you out a little bit. And they look different. NC State just looks different than they used to. They're a bigger team. Dave Doran's done a really good job. Their strength and conditioning program has been unbelievable getting those guys where they are. But speaking about elite and unbelievable, let's bring up our top 10 quarterback list that we came up with. Here's what we got. Bryce Young 1, C.J. Stroud 2, Hendon Hooker 3, Will Rogers 4, Caleb Williams 5, Devin Leary 6, Jake Haener 7, Dylan Gabriel 8, KJ Jefferson 9, and Cameron Rising 10. Was surprised a little bit not to see BGB Will Rogers on your list. We look at the quarterbacks in the SEC. We almost put him above Hendon Hooker. Now, I have Mississippi State struggling this year, but not because it's Will Rogers' fault, just because Mike Leach always wins some he shouldn't. and loses some that he shouldn't as well. Will's elite. What do you think about Will Rogers? What do you think about Cam Rising at Utah now that he's the guy, not having to come in game 3 and be this new face for the season?
Yeah, well, Will Rogers, I mean, I've got just outside the top 10. I mean, he's a solid talent. And with that offense, I mean, basically, I mean, they throw the ball so much and the way that he slings it around, I mean, like their running plays are basically hitting running backs in the flat. Yeah. So he's definitely, I mean, he's definitely close to the top 10. Cam Rising, another great guy. I mean, I think Utah can make the playoff this year. I think Utah could have easily gone undefeated last year if they start Cam Rising at the beginning of the season instead of Charlie Brewer. That team and the dynamic of that team changed dramatically the second he started playing for him. He's definitely a better playmaker. I think the only game they lost was against Oregon State when he was starting. So I like Cam Rising. I think he's definitely a difference maker, and it's something that Utah hasn't had at quarterback really, since Alex Smith. So we shall see. I'm surprised you guys didn't have. I was expecting someone to have Will Levis in
I was about to ask you
10.
that.
So I was ready to argue about that.
But,
Well,
he was the only quarterback he's the only quarterback in PFF that graded above 80 passing and above 80 rushing.
Really?
Yeah, he's the only guy who do that. And the versatility of Will Levis, I mean, it's there. I mean, he's a shiny new toy that everybody loves. I mean, he's a big guy. I mean, he got a big arm, and he's an extremely good runner. I mean, did he miss a lot of throws that he should have hit last year? Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, it was a new system. I still think, I don't know if he's a top 10, but Will Levis is probably right outside of that top 10 for me.
Yeah, well, Charlie, Brewer looked more lost than me at Neverland Ranch last year starting off the season. But I will say, I think, and with Kentucky, I'm a huge Mark Stoops fan. Love what he's done there, built it from the inside out. I think we are missing how much Wan'Dale Robinson covered up last year for Kentucky. That's a tough guy to replace. I know they've gone to the portal. I know they got C-Rod in the backfield and stuff like that. And I think Will's fine. I think Will's going to have a shot. Jim Nagy, guy we've had on a bunch of times, the executive president of the Senior Bowl, head of scouting, they like him as well. I think people are sleeping on how much Wan'Dale Robinson made Will Levis right. That scramble drill him and Will Levis had were crazy. A lot of their big plays wasn't just scripted. Hey, we're going to get the ball to Wan'Dale. Here's a progression. Oh, there he is. It was, Wan'Dale. That's how it went. So I'm interested to see how the improvisation works this year, because that was also when Will Levis got in trouble. That's when the turnovers happened. Yeah. Is when the improvisation happened.
And his physicality and his mobility are going to get him out of a lot of trouble. I just want to see him throw Kentucky to wins. Like I said, if they're down late on the road, that's what I want to see. But Big Game Boomer, I want to get your opinion here, because you being an Oklahoma fan, you have a unique perspective. You had Spencer Rattler on the list, and Spencer Rattler transferred out of Oklahoma. Caleb Williams transferred out of Oklahoma. You had him on the list. And then Dylan Gabriel comes into Oklahoma. We had him in our top 10 list. Can you break down what you think the ceiling is for Dylan Gabriel and for Caleb Williams now that he's at Southern Cal?
I think that they both have through the roof ceilings. I mean, Dylan Gabriel played with Jeff Lebby at UCF in 2019, and I mean, they put up some great numbers. My concern for Gabriel is really, can he stay healthy? Because he broke his collarbone in the second week of the season against Louisville. And so I'm concerned. And, if you watched Ole Miss's offense last year, you saw Matt Corral running the ball a lot. I mean, he had like over 200 yards rushing in one game. So I'm concerned about Gabriel if he can stay healthy through the whole season in that type of offense. Caleb Williams, I do like Caleb Williams. I mean, I think his ceiling is through the roof. I mean, everyone, when you look at his highlight reels, you look at that Texas game where he just came in and saved Texas or saved OU. Mm-hmm. I think, though, he's still got to mature. I mean, he's still a guy that still stares down his first option when he steps back in the pocket. He likes to take off and run early. So he'll get there. I mean, Lincoln Riley, OU fans hate him, but the guy has a great offensive mind. There's a reason that there's been multiple Heisman quarterbacks that have won in Oklahoma when he was there. So I think Williams will have a big year this year at USC.
Definitely. Well, BGB, thanks so much, man. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media. We'll put out a collab tweet or retweet each other with our list today and collab on Instagram about this quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, find me on Twitter, Instagram at Big Game Boomer. I've got a podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Big Game Boomer Show. Really just doing what you guys do. So I appreciate you guys for having me on. Enjoy watching the show. I've been watching y'all for I think over a year now, since SEC Media Days last year. Yeah. So It's fun.
Definitely, man. Well, we appreciate you. Thanks for getting up with us this morning, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. And we'll have football to talk about. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Love it.
I know.
Y'all take it easy.
All right, buddy.
Man.
All right. If you want to watch the rest of the show, remember you can listen to it if you want to stay here. Head over to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member, listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with your friends. We're coming back with some more great sports analysis. Well, you decided to return. Smart move by you. Let's go straight to the Booster Club, also known as the greatest grassroots movement since Miracle Grow.
Before that, I was kind of thinking, what if Bo Nix, right? Do you think Bo Nix could sneak in that top 10 list?
What did I say yesterday?
I mean, just what he has.
Yes.
Oregon has the offensive
But
line.
not preseason.
Not preseason.
Well, obviously not. He played at Auburn, so I don't know how he do that. All right, Ethan Williams, if Texas loses their first 2 games, will Quinn Ewers get benched? I spelled it wrong.
Well, not if he balls.
Yeah, well,
The defense gives up 60.
It just depends on how you lose. Like you said, are you losing because the defense can't stop anybody and you're losing 48-45? Are you losing because you couldn't score? Like you could not move the ball because of the quarterback position, or something happens off the field. Anything can happen, but it's nice to have a backup that is experienced, that is somewhat capable. So yeah, I mean, look, it's Angels in the outfield, man. Anything could happen.
All right, Ethan Williams said, I heard someone say that we should start a GoFundMe to get Caleb Williams to transfer to South Carolina to take Spencer Rattler's job.
The South Carolina fans were out for blood for me yesterday.
I just don't get all the Spencer Rattler hype.
I want to say this again. So I have South Carolina going 2-6 in the conference. Okay, if you look at that schedule, and look, fans of teams are going to get upset, and I don't. Again, like I said, if I want to make everybody happy, I'd sell cookies and lemonade, and milk. So if you look at their schedule, it's not a big leap to see that being a possibility. Now, I know everybody in South Carolina is so jacked and tan about what's going on. You should. I literally had a whole monologue on here about Shane Beamer and the future. But you got to be somewhat realistic, too. The answer is probably somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle between 2-6 and 6-2, like a lot of them think they're going. But we'll find out. That's why you play the games.
Yeah. All right, Michael Fleming says, got to have a Crane & Co. College Game of the Week booster event in the future.
Of course.
I would love to see that. All right, Control.Delete, what up, peeps? What's up, man? BJ PS09XU13 says, Leach's offense throws the ball so much that Cone could throw for 4,000 yards in it right now.
Well, first of all, that means a lot to me. Second of all, I almost played for him at Texas Tech,
That's
to
true.
be honest with you. And third of all, I was thinking about this very same thing last night when I was looking at some air raid offensive tendencies. I know in the air raid, you're going to have a higher completion percentage, but Will Rogers is still 74%. That's 3 out of every 4 you're complete.
I don't care what offense you're running. If you're completing almost 75% of your passes, and look, the air raid's a lot of mesh, a lot of working stuff out of the backfield, the pick with the swing. It's the air raid. It's self-explanatory. You are using the pass to set up the run. That's why the draw is such a deadly play in Mike Leach's offense. Because again, you're taught, all right, boom, we're reading the drop out of the shotgun, hands break, that draw hits, eyes are turned, people are going to their spots. That's why Mississippi State, I do feel like they have, and if you watch Mike Leach, and this is something I think we talked about with Cole Kubick at SEC Media Days, he went a lot faster than he does now before he got to Mississippi State. There's something about the SEC that kind of slows you down. That's why I keep saying, don't be surprised if you see Josh Heupel going a little bit slower earlier in games to limit the amount of plays the defense is on the field.
Well, you saw a little bit later in that second half of the Mississippi State season, they started running the ball a lot more than they did in the first half. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, your tendencies, you just can't throw it every play.
Yeah,
you just can't. You have to make a defense honor somewhat of a running play. You have to.
But me throwing for 4,000 yards sounds great, so tell him thank you.
Yes. You want to go a little punt or go right here?
Yeah, let's go punt or go.
Hey,
all right.
punt alert, punt alert, punt alert.
Punt alert. Baker Mayfield was named the starter for the Carolina Panthers. Man, that makes you happy over there, doesn't it?
It does.
It makes you happy.
Well, again,
that didn't take long.
He's out there giving advice to Matt Corral, really taking him under his wing, showing him the right way to do things.
Telling Sam Darnold, you know.
Tell Sam Darnold, like, hey, man, get out.
I mean, this doesn't surprise anybody. Sam Darnold, you know, we know is just clumsy Kirk Cousins. Not as good as Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But I am so interested to see upset Baker because you know when Baker Mayfield was good?
Mm-hmm.
When he had a chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
When he was, you know, too undersized. When he was a walk-on that ended up transferring and blowing up.
Planting the OU flag in the horseshoe.
Number 1 overall pick. And I feel like he kind of lost that a little bit. Chip on the shoulder Baker is the best Baker.
So you blame the Browns.
For sure.
And I think, you know what? He may be back on his bully a little bit.
You think so?
He may be back on his bully.
Look, it'd be fun to see. Look, we've seen guys go to a new home.
Could be a dangerous team
out.
this year. Panthers could be sneaky. Could be a little sneaky team this year. I mean, he took the
Christian
Browns.
McCaffrey stays healthy.
He took
DJ
which
Moore.
probably won't happen. But I mean, he took the Browns, won a playoff game. I mean, who's the last Browns quarterback to do that? Don't worry, I'll wait.
There's a long.
While he was hurt, shoulder was destroyed, and they still put him out there to go play. You know, like Baker's a fighter.
He is, but I think
He's a fighter.
I think the chip on the shoulder's back, and Mad Baker is good Baker. Happy Baker is bad Baker.
Also, John Rice Plumlee was named the starting quarterback at UCF.
Good for him.
Good
for him. Great guy. Dude plays his guts out. Going to be interested to see it. Not a elite thrower of the ball, but Gus Malzahn makes his decision. Smells like a lot of RPO. With John Rice Plumlee. A lot of zone read. I think he may get a couple little spread option looks too. Gus likes to mix it up. Just don't put the H-back at quarterback and have him spin around at the snap like you did at Auburn.
Yeah, it's a swing pass.
It's a swing.
It's a swing pass. Motion to the swing pass.
Swing.
Yeah, we figured it out after year 1.
Swing.
Talk about high completion percentage.
Yeah, he completed 90% of his passes.
There's an update with the PGA Tour and Live Golf situation.
Yes.
Sounds like that lawsuit will not be heard until January 2024, which gives the PGA Tour, Tiger Woods, basically, and some of the stars, a significant amount of time to figure things out. What say you?
You know, I think that's obviously one storyline, but what I'm looking at is what the PGA Tour is looking about adjusting. It's going to Jay Monahan's desk. They're saying the PGA Tour, and look, Rory came out and said it. A couple others came out and said, he said, our best players need to play head-to-head more. Like, again, look, it's cool to watch, you know, some rando come up and be playing against Rory and them kind of on Sunday. But you know what I want? I want Rory versus, you know, the most elite. I want Rory and Spieth and Dustin Johnson. Give me Zalatoris. Give me Victor Hovland. I want to see the best go at it. So they're talking about making an elite series of tournaments with a big purse, all right, a lot of money. You know what that sounds like? The Live Tour. That's what it sounds like. But I think it's great. I think it's great. They're going to up the ante, and so they're going to make, like, at least from what I've seen, and I'm trying to read up as much on it as I could every day, they're going to use some of the lower-end tournaments, like the John Deere, as maybe like a qualifier to be able, you know, if you're a guy that's not in that elite status, to be able to play in those top-tier tournaments. I am so for this, and I said it when this happened. When Live started happening and started stealing guys, when they started stealing the young guys, iron sharpens iron. Look, do I agree with the way the Saudis do things? No. No, I don't. I don't agree with a lot of the way that we do things, to be honest with you. So when I'm looking at it from a pure golf standpoint, it has made the PGA Tour have to conform to something, which I never thought in a million years that I would say that you would see the PGA Tour have to conform to anything, because, you know, it's one of the biggest monopolies that there's been. I mean, there's a Walmart of golf, and on a cul-de-sac, got the market cornered. So
I won't
I think it's going to make the PGA Tour better. And Blaine, you asked a question the other day. I don't mean to go off the rails. Does his son Charlie win a major before he's 25?
Charlie Woods win a major before he's 25.
That's what everyone's the buzz on the street, guys.
It's the buzz on the street?
The easy
talk
answer,
to him?
The easy answer
I talk
no.
to the streets.
The easy answer is no. I mean, it's hard to win those things,
Are you
even if
saying
you're
no?
really good.
He's his dad.
But
Have you seen his swing? Have you seen his swing?
It's like
He's already.
How bad would Charlie Woods beat us on 18?
Oh, I'll get killed.
Oh my God.
John Daly's kid
He was beating
would
us at
murder
6.
us. Would murder us, and then probably go to Hooters and have a great time.
Yeah, I need some of those Daytona.
Like I think he wins a major before he's 25.
Really?
I like
do.
that.
Really?
That's a nice
But it's
pick.
going to
Is
be interesting.
Is there a future out on that yet?
Yeah, I think it's actually like minus 1,000.
You can bet
As you
1,000.
know from our betting 101, that's the favorite.
You can bet 1,000 to win $10.
Yep.
So go ahead, do that.
Well, I'll take the opposite.
Yeah,
How
good
about
luck.
that?
Good luck.
All right, what do we want to do here? Do we want to do our?
You want to go video mailbag here?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so if you don't know, we've started doing video mailbags and could possibly have call-ins here soon. Getting that up.
Oh, please.
Inspector Gadget. That would be just absolutely wild on so many levels. We may not get to anything else except the calls. But if you go, we always put the link out on Twitter. You'll see the link on your screen as well. Or underneath any of our Twitter posts, if you got a question, just make sure it's horizontal. You don't have to be Steven Spielberg to figure that out. But let's go ahead and play our first video mailbag.
Hey, Crane and Company, here's a question for you. Who is the best offensive head football coach in the NCAA? Off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe Lincoln Riley, maybe Ryan Day, maybe Mike Leach, maybe Sarkisian. What do you guys think?
Well, that's a great question. We appreciate the video. In my opinion, it's hard not to say Lincoln Riley. But I tell you one that we need to make sure we give some love to is Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze, yeah.
Hugh Freeze is a great offensive mind. And people, and I've talked about Malik Willis having to go through progression and stuff. It's a lot different. If you put Hugh Freeze in the NFL, and he knows how to get it rolling, like offensively, it's just the amount of time that you have with the players is different because in college, you have class and stuff like that. In the NFL, you're in the facility all day. That's your job. There is no going to check to make sure a guy's at study hall. You know what study hall is? It's coming to work. That's what it is. It's what you do literally every day. So I want to make sure we give Hugh Freeze some love. Who would you pick there?
Well, if you're making that list, you have to put Lane Kiffin on it and maybe even at the top of it. Now, I don't think he's the greatest head coach, but if you're talking about offensive-minded head coaches, Lane Kiffin is always going to have a spot on that list.
Yeah, Chip Kelly's another one, too.
Yeah, Chip Kelly, Coach Day. What about Josh Heupel?
Heupel, I don't think
Heupel needs another year at Tennessee to kind of really put himself into that top tier group of names, but I would put Josh Heupel up there just because his system's phenomenal in what he does. He's really stuck to his guns, and that system's only getting better and better, especially with a second-year quarterback like Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, Sarkisian's one that obviously jumps off the list. I'll give you another one. Speaking of Grayson McCall, Jamie Chadwell.
I love that pick. I was thinking that too.
Another guy too, Willie Fritz at Tulane. Man, that spread option, the way he's kind of evolved it a little bit. When we used to go play at Georgia Southern, it just used to be hell to have to defend that because the players are really good.
The States, bro.
Your eye discipline has to be so, and it's like a mixture somewhat of the triple option with the ability to spit the ball out and pass it. So you really can't overhaul to one thing, right? Like you're playing the triple option. What's the first thing you got to do? You got to stop the dive. You got to stop the dive, and you build it outside of that. When you're running what Willie Fritz runs and Jamie Chadwell on them, it's such a pain because we always talk about one step, see ya, and that. It's one step C on the ground or the air. It's basically an RPO offense.
It is.
It truly is. Now, you have some plays that there's no pass off of it. They'll give the illusion of a pass. Maybe you'll get some blocking scheme that's trying to influence guys. That's where it becomes problematic. But there's
if you treat the triple option pitch as a pass, it literally is the run pass option, or as my high school coach said, RPO stands for run people over. Let's go back to Jamie Chadwell for a second because I love that you brought his name up. Let's say somebody like that were to get the Nebraska job. What's he doing offensively to bring that program back?
I think he's going to dance with the one that brought him. Unlike what Scott's going to do, Jamie Chadwell isn't changing.
Now he's running some triple option type.
No, yeah, it's spread option basically is what they do now. Again, certain circumstances, 3rd and 10, stuff like that dictates that you have to change. But it is somewhat multiple in formations. You're able to work out of the pistol, out of the gun. I think Jamie does a good job of not getting tendencies because one thing you're looking for a lot with tendencies is obviously, all right, back's on the left side, his heels are at the quarterback's toes, and this happens when that happens. It's inside zone, or if he's wider, it's outside zone, so he can get that track out as everybody takes the wider step up front. But he does a really good job of hiding tendencies. I love what he does out of the pistol, but I really like what he does in the passing game. This isn't something where it's like, all right, we're heavy. It's like Gus Malzahn, where the run scheme is they try and complicate it and mix it up, but the pass scheme is vanilla ice cream. It's almost like you have to have it. I think Jamie is very, very balanced in what he does. Formationally, from a route tree standpoint, you have to respect how good they are, option routes that they're running off stuff. It isn't just a one-trick pony with Jamie Chadwell, and I think that's what makes him.
Would it work in the SEC?
Yeah, it would. Just like Hugh Freeze's offense worked in the SEC. There's a lot of similarities.
Jamie's a lot more triple option.
Yes, they're a little more downhill, but there's a lot of similarities in what Hugh Freeze and Jamie Chadwell do. If you go look from a identifying standpoint. From now, Hugh goes a little faster, obviously, than what they do. But there is a lot of similarities when you look at both those guys. Go watch the tape. Go look at how it operates, and almost from a play calling standpoint, too. Jamie's not as go for the throat as Hugh is. Jamie's a little more methodical, in my opinion, but there are some similarities. It's a great question. Let's go ahead and roll our second video mailbag.
Jake, you have Arkansas losing to only Alabama and Auburn. Now, I understand Alabama, but Vegas Insider has the Auburn over-under set at 6.5. 3 of those games being Mercer, San Jose State, and Western Kentucky. Again, I understand losing to Alabama, but if Arkansas is so good, why are they going to lose to an inferior team?
Yeah, it's a great question. I appreciate that. And Arkansas is my surprise in the SEC. I got them going 10-2, 6-2 in the league, and I know the schedule is brutal. Outside of the SEC, I know you got BYU. I know you got Cincinnati. Well, that's fine. It's part of the deal. I think they have enough depth on their roster this year to make that run. Alabama, like you said, we know. I don't think that's a stretch to say that Alabama's going to be the best team in college football this year. I don't see them losing a game. It's just the question to me is how much are they going to win everyone by? The Auburn and Arkansas series is very interesting when you go back and look. And I'm not a huge trends person. I'm not going to go back 20 years and say, well, you know, they're 11-9 when the sun sets in the east or something like that. Or, you know, when candy corn was illegal. I'm not looking at that. But when I look at Arkansas and Auburn, last year, you know, funny stuff happens, you know, Bo Nix year before and stuff like that. They've got to go to Jordan-Hare. And there's always a game in Auburn season where they beat somebody that's better than them at home. Arkansas, while they're not as deep, has a better roster than Auburn. They have better players, and we'll see how much better the coaches are this year. But there is always that one game where Auburn at home, underneath the Indian burial ground that Jordan-Hare's built over, all the breaks go their way, and they beat a top team that they shouldn't. You can go back and see it. I fell on Arkansas this year because when you look at the home schedule with LSU and with Arkansas, really outside of that, you know, you get Penn State at home, but I'm not sold on Penn State. It'll be a huge game because it's earlier in the year and it's big for Brian Harsin. I feel like that Arkansas game is the one that Auburn just magically finds a way to win. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. We've watched it with Auburn a ton of the time. Now, would I be shocked if Arkansas, you know, maybe lost a game other than Auburn and beat Auburn? No, nothing shocks me nowadays in college football. But there's always that one game, and when you're projecting these schedules and these finishes, you have to take into account not just the basic things, not just all right, well, they have this personnel, here's the schedule. It's the stretches that you see, the 4 or 5 games without a bye week, that one road game that you may slip up on where a team can get hot. I just feel like, again, and I go off feel, I go off instinct. I'm not saying that to troll anybody. That's why I was laughing at South Carolina fans yesterday. I put these SEC standings out like 3 months ago. And got some hate, but this isn't anything new. I didn't come up with this yesterday. And I get it. Like I said, I'm just going to tell you what I think. You can think what you want. You're always going to piss somebody off, whether you're making lists, whether you're picking standings, whatever, and we'll see how it goes. So now I just feel like that's the one. I feel like it's going to be a tricky game. You look when it is, because I think Auburn starts 5-0. I think they start 5-0, beat Penn State, beat LSU.
See that Penn State game.
Blaine. You can laugh.
I mean, the only thing
I got them going 7-5.
Great question. That's the only thing I could hear out of that is Auburn's win totals at 6.5.
Yeah.
That's not good, buddy. That's not good. 6.5. I mean, Auburn right now as a program is trending down. And what is the rest of SEC doing other than Vanderbilt?
Yeah. Trending up.
Trending up. Is Auburn just slowly walking to the bottom of the SEC?
Going to Davy Jones' locker?
I mean, just the Black Pearl? Is this what this is turning into? Are we just slowly going
find
down
out.
the drain?
You better win 8. You don't win 8, they're going to out the gate.
That's it. That's how you know the standards are falling. You got to win 8. Better win 8, guys. It was, hey, let's go win the SEC championship. Let's go win the national championship. Now it's like, hey, guys, better win 8.
It's the truth.
Better not lose to Georgia State at home.
Brian Harsin's going to call Blaine after the season.
Call me.
Today's the day you thought you would bet against.
Yeah, call me, please. I hope I'm wrong. God, I'm hoping I'm way off.
The wrongest of the wrong.
God, I hope I'm way off. But right now, I mean, Vegas, me, God. Like 6.5.
That's tough. That's tough. That's a lot of adversity there. What do we got in the Booster Club?
Okay, Jonathan Herndon wants to know, hashtag Ask Crane and Company. I wonder how many times a day I say hashtag Ask Crane and Company. Over
I hope you say it a million times.
Is UCF currently the best team in Florida?
No. I'm going to go Miami. I think Miami is the best team in Florida. Again, UCF to me, like I was talking about with Houston, going to the Big 12, I love the move. You got a proven guy in Gus Malzahn. You've got the fan base. I mean, that school's got like 50,000 people that go to it. You've got the resources. UCF is on the come up. They are on the climb, but I'm going to go Miami this year.
It's the climb. Are you talking a little Miley Cyrus over there?
Well, we can do it.
Hey, Dion Green sighting. What's up, Dion?
Dion. Hey, mate.
Dion. What's up, mate?
Hey, mate.
All right, we'd love to see him get in there. All right, Ride Highs wants to know, what is Auburn going to do? Continue to die or make some changes? And M. Hunt says, Auburn's the type of team that could go 10-2 or 2-10 seemingly every year. Neither outcome would be
If
successful.
they go, I'm going to tell you right now, if Auburn goes 10-2, Brian Harsin is one of the Avengers. I'm just telling you. Or he found an Infinity Stone. Or it's one of those deals like with bands that make a deal with the devil and then get famous. Like something happened. Okay, something happened that we didn't see. If this team goes 10-2, I will crawl on my hands to Auburn. And
From here?
from here,
Okay,
from
let me write that
Nashville.
down.
Go ahead and write that down. And what are you going to do if they don't go 10-2?
Look, I don't deal in
Well, Coach
absolutes.
says
started talking.
I don't deal in absolutes, but I can promise you this 100%. 100% that Auburn is not going 10-2.
It's going to be interesting.
All right, Charles Moore said when we were talking about great offensive coaches, who are also head coaches, Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Obviously.
Can't
Yes.
leave Jimbo off the list. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
touching of the hair face.
Mark wants to know why we never talk about Army or Navy football.
We just
We
talked
just talked about
Navy
how
a second
difficult
ago.
that was going to be
No,
for
yeah,
Houston.
me, guys. I'm just reading
Yeah,
questions.
Hey,
what are you
Blaine,
saying?
you're not
Blaine?
here
I'm
when I
just
said it would be a
I'm
tough
just reading
game for
questions,
Houston.
guys. I'm just reading questions.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. No, look, as we get closer, we're going to talk. I mean, we're going to have. I like to bet a lot on Navy just because you know how the possession's going to go. Like kind of the flow of it. We are also. I'm going to have open the show one day, kind of talking about the service academies and what that means, and when football practice is the easiest part of your day. When most of the time it's the hardest part of the day for everybody else, that deserves to be talked about.
All right, our daily Kirk Cousins question, guys.
Good.
Brian
Great.
Howard wants to know, well, he said Vandy would dominate with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. How many games does Vandy win with Kirk Cousins at quarterback?
Pull up the schedule.
Let's be honest.
Let's pull up the
I want
schedule.
this to be honesty hour right now.
No, it's 100%.
Change my. I got sent a picture on Twitter with an 8 ball that says Kirk Cousins mid.
That was funny.
Change it
That
to my
was
Twitter
fun.
background picture.
That was
I'm
very
going to look
funny.
at that.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins as the Vanderbilt quarterback. Okay.
With
many games
Kirk
they
Cousins
play?
at quarter. At Hawaii this Saturday.
It's a win.
They're winning that. Versus Elon.
Must?
Versus you? They're playing you.
They're playing me.
Yeah.
I know I'm a formidable opponent, but one
Who
guy.
was it? Who
one
was
guy.
it? Who was it? Was it the basketball tournament last year when somebody asked me, it was like somebody's playing some team that was a name?
No, George Mason.
George Mason. I was like, well, if you can't beat one guy, then y'all are in trouble. No,
All right.
it's a win
So
against
they start
Elon.
2-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus Wake Forest. No Sam
No
Hartman.
Sam Hartman.
No Sam
I
Hartman.
don't know.
Kirk Cousins.
Win.
That's a
Win.
They're losing that, aren't
No, Wake Forest defense is terrible.
they? Okay. 3-0.
over.
At Northern Illinois.
That's a win. The boys
Win.
are hot.
Okay.
The boys are hot.
The boys
At
are back in
Alabama.
town.
At
At
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, you're gonna have to call the first 48.
But I need to bring the whole
Yeah.
Vikings squad down.
Yeah.
You're gonna literally.
All right.
How many ambulances do we have at the field?
Yeah, you're gonna need Ragnar Lothbrok from literally the Vikings to be able to win that one.
Ole Miss at home.
Loss.
Loss.
At Georgia.
Loss.
At Missouri.
Loss.
Win.
Loss.
Come on. Win. Versus South Carolina.
Loss.
Loss.
At Kentucky.
Loss.
Versus Florida.
Loss.
Loss.
This is so
Versus
awesome for me.
They're so bad.
Versus
So awesome for me.
It's a loss.
This is so awesome.
If unless Kirk Cousins and three of the other Vikings. Now here's the question: if it was Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson together,
Ooh.
like just one guy, just Kirk and Justin, just a guy for him to throw to,
Could
who
they
happens to be maybe the best wide
Could they
receiver in the
beat
NFL.
everyone but Alabama and Georgia?
No.
With that.
They could possibly make a bowl.
I am tripling Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone go guard him.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't
that's
care.
exactly
Leave
right.
everybody else up. Just everyone go guard him.
That's funny. That's a fun game to play. I like that game. But speaking about
All right.
another game, do You want to do the Tom Brady?
Look, Tom Brady returned to Bucks practice after a little sabbatical, okay? The reasoning they said possibly maybe a vacation with the family in the Bahamas. Our sources are telling us differently. We have 3 reasons each here of why Tom Brady missed camp. Wrong answers only.
Okay.
Who's
You want to
starting?
start? You
Semi-wrong.
You start.
Well, look, the number one reason is there was a Dolphins owners convention on Miami Beach. You know, it's like, look, I know I'm playing quarterback for the Bucks this year, but I want some ownership stake in the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Stephen Ross calls on the yacht. You're going.
Yeah, well, Stephen Ross is just chilling right now. He's got nothing to do for a couple months.
I think they made Tom do the PowerPoint. The new owner, minority owner situation.
Tom Brady doing a PowerPoint
on Miami Beach.
Yeah, turns out it was the greatest PowerPoint ever.
That's what I got. Your turn.
Yeah, here's what I got. Giselle wants to win time of possession this year.
Time of possession. It's her time.
I think for Tom to come back, they probably just like, I guess any solid marriage, I'm finding out soon, works. They maybe made a compromise. Maybe she's like, hey, I need you here for this certain amount of time. You don't need to go to camp this long, okay? You've been 30 summers in a row. You need to stay home and watch the kids and sleep in this bubble that we're pumping in this alien oxygen in.
It's about trade-offs,
Trade-offs.
I think he's been called upon by the government to reverse engineer UFOs. He's the only one.
And he did it in 11 days.
He just throws footballs at him.
In 11 days.
Throws footballs at him.
And watches
until it works.
Serving his country. Serving his planet.
Yeah,
really.
that's hilarious. You got him reversed. That's pretty good.
I'm going on the Giselle route here, too. Look, after years and years of Giselle showing up to his games, he had to go and watch a powder puff tournament that she was starring in.
Oh, I'd watch.
Also, that's
where
it was
is
in the
it?
Bahamas, I was hearing. So
yeah. Where is it? Please let me know. I would say another one is that he had to go gather all the leaves from whatever hidden island that he's found to be able to stay on his diet and do whatever. Because again, if you look, he eats like, sauteed bark and leaves that were licked by some lizard that makes you younger. I think that actually really happened.
Sounds like Aaron Rodgers' diet.
No, I think that's just what Aaron Rodgers sees when he drinks his homemade soup.
What you got, Blaine?
I don't know. That's really the only one I had. I'm gonna be honest. My number 2 is like he doesn't care anymore.
He's like making more money starring in a film. For
number
a
3. My number 3 is like he's defending the rebellion.
Yeah, but let's go Booster Club. Booster Club. Give us while I walk over to the board your reasons, and in the comments tell us why Tom Brady didn't show up to camp until now. This ought to get really interesting.
Real possibility. Could be a week-long rager convincing Gronk to come back for one more year in Vegas.
Now,
like just a week-long rager
man.
with Gronk saying, hey, Godwin's out. Got a lot of trade.
I feel like Gronk has
Howard.
week-long ragers every week. I feel like Gronk's life
his whole run it back one more time.
Yeah. It's like his dinner is like a keg stand. He's like, all right, guys, like come in, it's dinner time.
His body's just falling apart, though.
Yeah, again, Gronk played very physical. But I'm going to walk over here to our Booster Club board, brought to you by DraftKings. Don't draft like a queen, draft like a king. Blaine, anything in the Booster Club? Any ideas here on Tom Brady? Yes, read it.
I can't read it.
You can't read it?
I can't read it.
Is it funny, though?
Yeah, it's about his kids.
Is it so?
You can't read it.
You can't read it?
We'll remember it so we can talk about it.
Colleen Houston said Tom Brady took a sabbatical to open the second location of Tom Brady's Falafel City.
Falafel City.
That's pretty good.
Riot Eyes, this is funny. Riot High says, fact, Jake has a shrine to Mario Cristobal in his basement.
Hey, dude, it's like the one that Helga has, the Hey Arnold. I made it out of gum.
She did have that, didn't she?
God, that's a blast from the past. All right.
Hey Arnold.
Yesterday, 1-1, took 2 dog bets. The Twins, it's like a Chainsmokers song. Stop letting me down. New York.
Is that a Chainsmokers song?
I
don't think it is.
I think it is.
Stop letting me down.
Don't let me down. Isn't that a Chainsmokers song?
I don't know if that's the name of it.
I'm on it.
Yeah, please, Cone. Let me be right.
I'm probably wrong.
Let me be.
Chainsmokers, don't let me down.
You, me, forever. Here's what I got
Never
today.
heard it, though.
The Yankees came through for the kid. Cat Eyes gave up the bomb to Aaron Judge first inning. Like, I don't know. I said yesterday on the show, we need to make sure to get that clip to
Someone
play
said he went to solve the Russia-Ukraine crisis.
And he did.
Yeah.
They needed more weapons. We sent him Tom Brady.
He's just throwing missiles.
Yeah, and meanwhile, he's going to take a left and go break Brittany Griner out of prison.
Like, it's a plane, it's a tank. Oh my God, it's Tom Brady.
They'll be like, excuse me, Vladimir, we've got a problem.
Wait, something.
They
Judge
sent
Homer, third
Tom.
inning.
Third inning.
Judge Homer.
I tell
Sorry.
you what.
I'm sorry.
Not to take
You
this-
really thought you were
homered.
right on that.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, here's what I got today. And also tonight. Orioles, White Sox, Nerfy,
I like that
minus
pick.
121. Voss,
Cease
Cease
on the mound. I wanted to take
man.
that one.
Dylan Cease.
Cedric Mullins.
Can't escape this guy,
only guy
man. I
scares
can't
me at
escape
Nerfies.
this guy. No, so I'm going to take the Nerfy. Then I want the Astros over 5.5 runs. Look, Verlander's on the mound tonight. Don't believe really in the other guy that's going. The Astros, I know they got a lead, heating up offensively, coming off the series loss to the Braves, trying to just keep staying hot, keeping it what, Blaine?
Sometimes you got to keep, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to get Houston over 500 runs. That's going off at plus 102, guys. Plus 102.
Okay.
21-17 on the month. Handshakes and high fives. 151, 138 overall. Let's keep going. We're almost to college football season. What do we say, right? Plug up the holes in the boat. Let's get to dry land.
Yep.
Dry land's college football. Cone, what's your little spell book telling you?
I like
today?
that White Sox Nerfy pick. Nice pick there, but I'm going to go Braves first 5, minus a half at minus 150. Max Fried on the mound. Let's figure it out. And then I'll take some Nerfy action as well. Dodgers Brewers Nerfy.
You were
Okay.
2-0 last night. One of them being the Dodgers and Brewers.
I'm 0-0. I'm 0-0. I'm focused
No,
on
you were
today.
2-0 yesterday.
I'm focused on today. Got Gonsolin on the mound. Corbin Burns on the mound. No runs first inning. Get it done.
Hey, I feel like we haven't been using the soundboard enough since we started in the morning.
What
Will
do
hit
you want?
Somebody kill me, please, before I do my
Sure.
bets?
Yeah.
And that feels so good to hear it at 7:50 in the morning. So, Ronald Acuna took the first pitch, a ball, he should have.
Yeah.
Second pitch, hit a double.
Wow.
Hit that sound one more time for me, please.
Okay.
All right, my bets. All right, I'm doing it again, guys. Look, I told you, I'm betting until I hit it. I don't care. The tanking thing's done. The mustache is gone. Am I
The
tanking?
tanking thing's done? Did you just admit to tanking?
No, I'm saying I'm not tanking. Hold on.
Whoa.
That's why I'm still taking the same bets.
We're reopening.
I'm still taking the same bets. As
It was
you
a
can
cold
see,
case
The
for a
tanking
while.
thing was a farce.
It was
They tried
a
to
cold
Tom
case
Cruise
for a
me.
while.
They tried to Tom Cruise me with the eye patch movie. He put the bag too far away, and it didn't do what it had to do. All right, what's it called? Valkyrie? I think that was what it's called. I might be wrong, but hey, surprise, Bet Buds, Dave. Little Nerfy, Dodgers, Brewers.
Yeah?
All right, little Nerfy. And then
Run, David.
I'm taking the Rockies and the Rangers, top of the first pitch, plus 1,200. Pretty sure I'm 0 for 14 on these guys. So, hey, it's not going to hit. But until this month ends, I'm going to keep taking it until I hit it.
All right. Baby Cone tried to go against me, took the Mets money line yesterday. Sorry about it.
Failed miserably.
Failed miserably, but you're 1 year old now. Super happy. There's a great picture of him. The birthday party was awesome. He's going Cardinals. Double money line on the
Full
doubleheader today.
slate.
Has the odds come out on the second game yet, David? Let's check that out. The odds on the first one, it's the Cardinals, minus 186. He's going to money line there. Don't know if it's out yet. Cone is going to his handy-dandy computer science book and is going to find out if it's there yet.
I don't see the lineup.
Not seeing it yet. We'll make sure we update that line. Guys, look, it's tight. Blaine, we can joke around about, you doing the put it in play,
Look,
whatever.
At
plus
this point,
1,200
I don't know
bets.
why I just don't take 4 guys to all hit a home run in the same day. Because it's probably more likely than does someone swing at the first pitch. Please.
Yeah, you're going to hit one eventually. It's just how long you're.
Okay, I have odds here. Minus 126 for the Cardinals. in
Okay,
game
so
two.
we're minus
game
186 game 1. Game 2's minus 126.
Are you taking both games?
Yeah. These feel like it's going to be a great day for the
Cardinals. Cards on an 8-game win streak.
Dude, and
Look, guys,
they're
we got
5
some
games
big-
up, right?
This is a first for me. I'm going to be honest in the
What?
chat. Blaine Gilbert, spelled the exact same way.
Gilbert.
My name is spelled B-L-A-I-N. It's the
Wow.
first time
So is that who they were talking about in Walsh's chat?
No.
No.
I don't think
They're
showing
talking
his
about my ankles.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but this is the first time I ever met a Blaine that spelled the same as me. Probably a great-looking guy.
That
Was that
probably
y'all-
super smart. And handsome.
Is that your
wealthy.
brother?
Hmm?
Is that your long lost brother?
Wait, what? That
Twin?
means well,
Cousin?
that means it's my long lost brother too. What's going on?
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it? Does it? I gotta look at him. Oh no, believe me, we got marked
does
up.
Blaine
good.
does Blaine Gabbert spell his name with an E on the end?
No, he spells it by. He spells his
Yeah.
name. He spells his name INT.
Yeah.
That's an interception joke. Let's go.
He does have an E on the.
Yeah. All right. So top
I
play.
can't believe this.
Look, this is the knockout heard around the world. Absolutely nuts. Cone, as our resident UFC expert, let's let you break this up.
Look, man, this thing was over. This was in the bag for Usman. He won the second, the third, the fourth. He was winning the fifth. All of a sudden, Leon Edwards' camp saying, look, you got to go to the max here. You got to knock this guy out. 50 seconds left. Look what can happen. Look what can happen here.
Play the clip.
Fifth round. Got him.
He went left.
This thing was over.
Foot. Oh, that's right in
That's
the
a great thing.
Oh.
That's the great thing about UFC. It only takes one punch.
Yeah.
It only takes one kick.
You hang the curve one time, see ya. I mean, again, he goes left hand here,
Bing,
right,
bing.
left.
Look at this.
Oh, you done the wrong way, bro.
Oh, dude, you just ate it.
Now, here's the thing. That was for the welterweight title belt, right? Now, Usman had beaten Colby Covington twice. You weren't going to see that fight again. What if Colby Covington were to get Edwards now? And maybe Colby Covington can get the belt.
Well, here's what I think.
Now you have Hamzat's going to fight Nate Diaz. There's a lot going on in the welterweight
I
division.
think they should all three fight at the same time.
So you just want a Royal Rumble situation. Okay, call Dana White.
But like legitimate. How cool would it be if you had Covington, all three of those guys?
How would this phone call go
with Covington
Dana?
and Usman and be like, Dana, you want to make it?
Look, I love what you've built, but have you ever seen Royal Rumble?
Do you want Elon Musk money? Let's put all three of them in the ring. Look, imagine nobody can talk to each other before the fight, so you can't collude and be like, hey, let's jump Covington, and then it'll be you. Can you imagine?
That'd be dope.
If you put all three of those guys in there and just let them fight, what do you think would happen? Like, what would two of them just naturally team up? Is Colby Covington like looking around like, wait a minute?
What do you say in dodgeball? Like, you team up against a smaller kid.
That's exactly right. That would be very interesting. Blaine,
Poll.
thoughts? Poll.
All right.
Poll.
Is this Scott Frost's last year at Nebraska?
Yes. No, Cone, you answer it first. I'm sick of answering first, then you Price is Right me every time.
It is. I think it is. Yes. 65%.
Oh, you go 65?
Yeah, made it tough for you.
God, why do you do
Over
this?
or
I'll
under?
say yes, 66%. Everybody likes somebody's getting fired.
Come on, Nebraska fans.
Well done, boys. Well done. Is this Scott Frost's last year at Nebraska? Yes. 64.
Yes!
That's how you pull one out.
Sold it.
Hey, I'm going to give y'all some credit. Y'all been on point.
Yeah, because nobody's been looking at the polls. Never was, never did.
You gotta vibe with the booster club.
You
You
do.
gotta know
We
what
got
they're
we got a
thinking.
great rapport, developing a lot of chemistry. Oh wow, it's the slant. I can see it without even looking at it. But anything else from the Booster Club, Lane, before we go? Oh, I think that's something.
I mean, not really. First of all, it was great to meet another Blaine in here. I mean, other than that, guys, y'all have done a great job today. And I'm not tanking, okay? I missaid what I was supposed to say. And obviously, I'm not taking. As
So
you
now
can
we have
see,
another
I'm taking the
lot
same
of
bets.
excuses.
Exhibit.
No, it's just a
lot of
couple.
exhibit
It's just a
A.
couple of them. There's just a couple.
Exhibit B.
There's always some bad apples. There's always some bad apples in there, and that's fine. But obviously, I'm taking the same bet until I hit it. So
the chat was good, even this early in the morning.
yeah, the chat was good. Everybody's getting up, getting moving.
Getting
The
moving.
Daily Wire chat. It was also good, but I know they're still kind of working on it. But the Daily Wire chat, I'm going to keep it, as a kid would say, would be a stizzy in here. Y'all need to do better. All right? Y'all need to do better. YouTube chat did really good today.
Good. Excited about YouTube chat, Daily Wire chat. Figure it out. Wake up. All right. I do want to say, yesterday, I sat in an aisle of decorative pillows with Reed, and I just, for probably over 30 minutes, and I came to the conclusion that maybe this is one of the ways they're like, all right, we just found this terrorist. We've got to get answers out of them. Do we waterboard them or take them to like a aisle full of decorative pillows?
How did we get from pillows to terrorism?
Because have you been in a decorative pillow aisle
Look, I love
with your
big
significant
pillow
other?
guy.
Decorative pillows.
Decorative,
You
not
can't sleep on
you're
these
gonna
things.
sleep on it.
They're not functional.
I could sleep.
Okay.
I'm not saying you can't physically sleep on them. You don't have to be
can
Usain Bolt to
sleep on
physically
them.
sleep on them. What we're saying is, I literally looked at Rita and was like, so you mean to tell me just that we are going to buy pillows that we are never going to sleep on? And she said yes, and looked at me like I was an idiot. And we sat there for 30 minutes while she was mixing and matching. She's like, look how furry this one is. I was like, so why would I care about the furriness of a pillow that I'm not going to sleep on?
What was the analogy you used yesterday? Like food you can't.
It's like going out to buy some fake food. Like what? Why?
First of all, did Blaine just say like it was a challenge? No, I could sleep on it.
Yeah, dude, like this isn't a bet of spikes.
How uncomfortable is it? Let's be honest. Is it that uncomfy?
It's not about
it's
about your wife not letting you sleep on it.
You're so
That's
single.
Situation.
You're the most single guy ever.
Jeez. Well, my roster's full right now, so
nice.
Doing good.
Proud of you.
Doing good. And hey, all right, Daily Wire chat. There are some bugs in the chat, so that's not on y'all. It's not on me, but that's on them.
Did you just call out the Daily Wire chat?
Yeah. So you chastise them.
No.
It's not even their fault.
Fix the bugs in the chat. It's not our fault. That is true. I can say
admit
when I'm wrong.
Man of the people.
I'm a grown up.
You owe him an apology.
I just apologized.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. I just know I'm apologizing right now. Y'all are right. So it's not on y'all. It's not on me. It's on them.
Okay. All right. I feel like it's on you.
It's not. I feel like it's on you, to be honest. I feel it's on both of you.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it's on both.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
We're gonna have a talk about it when we get done with the show.
That.
I'm gonna stand both of you up and sit both of you down. We're gonna have a conversation.
All right. Well, you're the worst curator since James Lipton. But
wow.
All right. We appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, everything else. Very excited tomorrow. Shout out Big Game Boomer. Got another great guest for you. And like the chances of the Mets winning the NL East, psych, not going to jinx the Braves. We're going, gone.